them are SNV Aziz Nigerian News Center. Let us analyze the statement that came from the Vice President of Nigeria and talking about Kasim Shettima, who have said that he don't know what an Obi would have done differently. That after all, Obi promised to remove subsidy if you declare the president, and they themselves have equally gone ahead to do the same thing. Now, does it mean during the campaign, the opposition, the current government, were waiting for Obi to make promises so that they follow him? And does it not mean that they copied Obi's idea?
If you look at how they were able to champion their campaign, all the political parties from PDP to APC to Labour Party, and when you listen to them on the issue of subsidy, you will discover that the issue of subsidy was just a national outcry, and they look at it from that angle, that they will just do it from that angle just to please the consciousness of so many Nigerians who want subsidy removed based on the news making round on how they have been able to the players in that oil industry, how they're able to make Nigeria dry. The issue of subsidy came up overwhelmingly under Jonathan, but unfortunately Jonathan was not able to market that issue of subsidy very well to the extent that Nigerians will understand it, and that resulted to what we saw. There was a protest in that regard, and the likes of Tinubu, Buhari, and all of them, condemned subsidy. But Jonathan has already seen the vision, that if subsidy is not being removed, we continue to have a serious challenges both in the upstream and downstream sector. But if you look at what Obi was trying to say during the campaign, they marketed it. Atiku did, and Tinubu also did. But if you look at them, at every fora, at every campaign, you look at how they were able to, each of them candidates were analyzing how they are going to go about subsidy and floating of the naira. You discover that Obi's analysis is more detailed. It has the statistics. What it takes. How to go about it. So that is why when they came in, and that was what gave Obi a lot of edge, because Obi understand how he tend to go about the issue of subsidy. He understand how he want to go about the issue of floating of the naira. And they went ahead and did it, believing that the forces of demand and supply will shape the economy. But unfortunately, it crashed. We see the dollar, the naira, being devalued, and at the same time collapsing on daily basis, because the policies and the way they wanted to go about it did not actually meet the required standard to be able to cushion the effect of those programs. But Obi himself has come out openly, even during the campaign, to tell Nigerians that he has what it takes to run, even if it's a subsidy regime or the floating of the naira as a policy, to be able to bring the economy to a standard. Everybody just jumped on that, and throw it to Nigerians, and that became the problem, because I knew very well for me, that Tinubu actually did those things just to, appease the growing outcry over the subsidy, you understand, without sitting down properly and engage the stakeholders and possibly come out with a better resolution and policy on how he want to go down. He just stood there, and said subsidy is removed, and that was the beginning of a major economic crisis we are having in Nigeria. But if we were to be like we are meant to understand by different economists and economic analysis, both financial experts, Obi would have engaged stakeholders in that industry very well, and better come up with a way or a means or a policy or a resolution on how it will flow, and it will not disrupt or destabilize the economy as we are experiencing today. So if the vice president is saying that Obi wouldn't have done anything better, I don't think he's in tune with reality, because his own style of trying to implement subsidy or floating of the naira might be quite different, from how Obi, who understand very well on how to work it out to the benefit of all Nigerians. That is what Kasim Shettima, the vice president, actually missed in that statement, because their own way of operating is quite different. There's no doubt about that from how Obi intended to push subsidy and of course floating of the naira.
Okay, now you look at see almost all these government policies are talking about from subsidy removal on gasoline to floating of naira at the official window and even the taxation aspect of the economy. You look as if they were borrowed the idea from Obi. Does it mean because this government lacked the wherewithal to come about these policies? That's why we are seeing policies of assault.
You can see during the campaign, a lot of people were buying into most of Obi's idea, how to fix Nigeria. In fact, that was what gave him edge, over any other candidate that would fear that he's competent, ahead of Atiku and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, So Obi, based on those analyses, I have not seen any place Obi will go and analyze. He will not enjoy the overwhelming ovation in that regard. But the fact is this, Obi himself has defined and was prepared, showing competence in what he does during his campaign, working out modalities on how he intends to implement it. So you can see what is happening now, that people are even calling, saying now that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should just throw away most of these ministers, and rejig his economic policies and bring in a more experienced technocrats, who can help him, because it looks as if the whole thing is stage managed. You can see the dollar appreciating against the naira on daily, and the naira is going down. We are talking about almost 1,600, 1,700 naira now. You can see nobody is busy just chasing shadows, chasing Buridi change. These are not the problem. They should go and most of the governors. You can see as at that time about 3 APC governors. We are even trying to ask Obi to join Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, to see how they can work on his ideas to fix Nigeria as it may. But we have not, whether that has happened actually or it has not happened, we have not seen that. But I believe in all honesty, from what Obi stood for, or for what he has said, based on his campaign agenda, Obi would have known what to do at this particular time. Obi have always said it, these things you are doing now is not the major problem. We have fundamental issues that would have helped Nigerian economy to stabilize. We were talking about the issue of electricity, that is one, road infrastructure, that is two. Then how to grow our domestic economy is another factor, is another problem. Nigeria is not productive. Nigerians are not productive. Talk less of having electricity, to be able to, make some certain things available for consumption for Nigerians. So Nigerians need to understand that it is production that is the most important and not consumption.
I must say very thank you for your time. This is Nigerian Center. Thank you for being on this program.